Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. This is Anonymous T. Hope you're having an amazing day today. Today, I am reacting to the Fox Soul show TGIF that is hosted by Claudia Jordan, and on her panel is Reynolds and Funky Dineva, and they finally addressed the Cardi B defamation lawsuit case against Tasha K, and I wanted to react to their comments. So first and foremost, before they get into the story and, Claudia is breaking down what's happened up until this point and discussing Cardi B's testimony, right off the gate, she asks Funky Dineva to comment, and right out the gate, Funky Dineva says, thanks, no thanks. I am not commenting on this. Basically, he said he has a personal rule where he is not going to be discussing any other YouTubers, specifically any other Black YouTubers, because since he still exists in that space, it can get messy, it can get toxic. And people, obviously, who know Funky Dineva and who followed him or have watched his videos in the past knows that on other topics, he has plenty of things to say. So they already know he has something to say on this. However, for the sake of everything else and the fact that he considers Tasha K a colleague, and because of the fact that they have a personal relationship and have done stuff together in the past, and he's not going to comment, and only thing he's going to say is the situation is unfortunate. Now, hold on to this because there is an update later on in this video to that. Soon as he said that, because keep in mind, while this show is streaming, there is a live chat that's happening during the show. So hold on to the comment that I just said that Funky Dineva stated. All right, so next, Reynolds, he speaks. He basically says that, he respects Funky Dineva's stance on not speaking on it and the fact that they're friends and whatnot and how he's not going to get involved. So then Reynolds says he finds Tasha K entertaining, and he said, sorry people, he likes her show. He said he knows some people don't like her or don't like her personality. And then he said that he loves her hustle and then did her, I respect her hustle. It was hilarious. But essentially he feels that this particular lawsuit is going to revolutionize how blogging is going to go moving forward and how people are going to choose to participate. He feels that Cardi B, was one of the first major celebrities to take this type of stance. And essentially he said Cardi was here for it, that essentially she spent over $1 million in attorneys for her legal team. And she said essentially, Al Reynolds was saying, hey, the best part is good money hires you good attorneys, hires you good lawyers, and that he liked the approach that Cardi B is doing as far as this lawsuit is going, that Cardi B is not focusing on slander. He feels that that is brilliant because she is focusing on libel, which essentially means that you are proving that somebody is publishing false information about you that's defamatory, that you can prove in a court, essentially in a federal court, that it is false, and basically hold them accountable for compensatory damages and everything else for lying. And so he felt that the issue with celebrities sometimes is if you try to sue for slander, it could sometimes end you up on the wrong side of the law. But he feels that libel is a win-win situation because essentially somebody trying to ruin your reputation, and you can also prove that if there's any wages lost, if there's any potential opportunities or roles that were lost as a result of this, as well as proving whatever they said about you was false. In this case, Cardi B having herpes, Cardi B being a prostitute, all these things, Cardi B cheating on her husband, all of that can essentially be proven in court that this is not true. So he felt that this was a brilliant space from a law perspective, because he felt for a long time that celebrities have not been able to navigate this. There hasn't been too many celebrities that have been able to get to this level and be successful in a lawsuit of this type of magnitude when they are dealing with the publication or a blogger of some sort that are continuously putting out, lies about a particular celebrity. So he felt that it was very smart on Cardi B's part. He felt that it was unfortunate for Tasha K. And essentially, Al Reynolds said he can't wait to see what the ruling is going to be. Then Claudia Jordan chimes in. She chimes in and says that she watches a few of the bloggers, such as Tasha K. But she said also that she wanted to tell bloggers who are being reckless that, essentially it was damaging that she admitted on the stand, that Tasha K admitted on the stand, that even though what she said about Cardi B might not be true, she chose to say it anyways and still publish those videos for it to go to the masses. And with that being said, Claudia Jordan said that's very damaging. She was glad that Cardi B was speaking on it because, she basically went into how Claudia Jordan herself, as well as Al Reynolds, for several years have always been talked about bad in the press. And from Claudia Jordan's own perspective, from her own personal experience, she was called a homewrecker, a whore, this and that. And she had a particular person who just continuously went at her with all kinds of rumors. So she completely understands how that can go, that once that is out there, once somebody can label you a prostitute, once somebody can label you and say that you have herpes and put that out there, it is hard to shake those rumors. And, both her and Al had made the point that nobody is reading the retraction. Nobody is reading you debunking any of those rumors because that's not as salacious as the possibility or the potentially of it being true. So nobody cares when you retract it at that point. And so Al went back. It was funny because it was like, yeah, back in my situation. But I was like, you mean your marriage to Star Jones? But I totally get it. But he essentially said back in his time, there was nothing constitutional to help out celebrities or to support celebrities. So essentially, anybody could make up a story about you, even if you weren't the celebrity, but you lived the celebrity life or were attached in some capacity to a celebrity, and there wouldn't be any repercussions, essentially. There wouldn't be any consequences of that. And so Al, felt that this is going to revolutionize the blogger sphere, that people are going to be more conscious of what they say. People are going to have to fact check more of what they're saying, or people are going to have to try to find a back door of a way to say stuff, but still, essentially, this is going to be an example of how to hold yourself accountable when you are reporting on certain things. And Al spoke to, when he was going through his things, how he had many restless and sleepless nights. He was trying to wrestle with the different narratives that were said about him. And so Claudia had asked, what was said about you, for the people who don't know or whatever. And he said he was called everything. He was called a gold digger. He was called a liar. He was pretending to be something that he wasn't, that he never worked, that he didn't bring anything to the table. And, he said basically when he was married, he worked on Wall Street and he was making six figures and he lived in a Ritz-Carlton. So how could he be plotting on somebody if he's making his own money and has his own career? And, again, he said he lived in the Ritz-Carlton. He was well socialized. He was, very much into the elite New York City nightlife. And he was called a gigolo. He was just basically called a gay perpetrator. And he said all of those falsehoods, all those things said about him was hurting. And the issue was, he felt that this affected him and it affected him financially. And he liked that Cardi B is taking this approach because she's telling Tasha K, your lies affected my business. Your lies is affecting my ability to make money. And as it pertained to Al Reynolds, he says he previously was a banker. He previously was managing high profile clients and their money. And basically having rumors out there that he's a liar, that he's a gigolo, that he's a perpetrator, all this and that. There's people who are trusting him with their money, and now all of a sudden they're putting into question, okay, if he's a liar, does that mean that he's mismanaging my funds? And that ruined his business. So he said definitely these type of lies that can be published about people can definitely damage you, ruin businesses, and have lasting effects moving forward. So then, of course, also was saying how he's glad that this changes things in terms of presenting things as facts. And it's one thing to have an opinion. However, Tasha K has a powerful voice. She has a lot of fans, so it's going to be hard to recover, and that this is hurtful. This is very damaging. Once it's out there, that is it. You're a celebrity. People feel that because you make a certain amount of money, because you're in the public eye, because you are doing well, that, oh, you don't have any feelings, that, oh, nothing matters, and that you need to get over it. But then I didn't like that Claudia Jordan was calling people bastards in the comments. I felt that was a little too much. I mean, trolls is one thing or whatever, but bastards? Oh, no. But essentially what she was trying to say was that different comments can hurt you, can disparage you, can damage your character and everything else. And she essentially is hoping that Tasha K learns from this because she just hit 1 million subscribers, and Claudia also likes her business model of doing things, which I feel is kind of a similar way that kind of propelled Wendy Williams to success, is kind of what I feel Tasha K's approach was, that you're going to get the story by any means necessary. And then I'll chime back in how, basically tried to say that Claudia Jordan and Funky Dineva, at least when things were going on with them, that they were on TV shows, they were making money. He said that he was not. He was just simply attached to a celebrity. But he wasn't making celebrity money at that particular time. So they were basically only, quote unquote, digging him on the left, whereas they were actually making money in the public eye and having to deal with this as well. And so then they had taken a break. So I thought that we had wrapped up, but the chat was going crazy. The chat, I guess, at one point had got up to like 3,000 people that were in there because everybody had something to say in the comments. And you'll remember at the beginning of the video, I was discussing Funky Dineva's comments on how he was not addressing this lawsuit, how he was not going to say anything. And so Claudia then asked her producers to send her a couple of the comments in the chat that weren't too bad. And so what was the first comment Claudia Jordan is sent? What was the first comment that was in the chat that Claudia Jordan read on the show? That Tasha didn't silence Funky Dineva. And so at first, I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think that Funky was going to respond. And I was like, okay, maybe they're just going to move forward to the next story or what have you. But sure enough, Funky Dineva was like, you know what? I am going to nip this in the bud because he sees this going viral. He sees this becoming a mess. And so he referenced his scandal that he had previously with old girl. He didn't want to say her name, but again, there was another YouTuber that they had a very public falling out, and there were some other things that took place, and essentially he didn't want to go down that road again. And essentially when that scandal had happened, every YouTuber made a video about him and about the situation, and he wanted to essentially say he's not giving preferential treatment to Tasha K. And he told the people in the comments, in the chat, or anybody that feels a certain way to, quote unquote, kiss his ass. Excuse my language, because I don't like to curse. But he said he doesn't like when bloggers go back and forth with each other and create this all-out negativity, toxic war, and go back and make videos back and forth about each other, coming for each other, and this and that. And so he said he's not been silenced. He said it's just something personal to him that he is choosing not to discuss it, and he does not want to discuss any Black bloggers in the past or moving forward outside of that one situation that he had with you know who. And so he said people are trying to make it seem like Tasha K is Ace Coon Boom, and that he's never going to ever say or do anything, and she's silencing him. He's like, no, that is not it. He's just personally not going to discuss other YouTubers. And so then Claudia Jordan was like, he said what he said, and Al Reynolds, he did like the Nene impression. I said what I said. And so it was funny. But okay, let me react, because I have to react because there was a lot. As it pertains to Funky Dineva not wanting to address this and not wanting to address any YouTubers or things of that nature, I can respect that. I don't have an issue with that. There has been a few YouTubers, though, at least, who have had a personal relationship with Tasha K, or she in some capacity has helped them or worked with them or helped put them on or something to that capacity. And essentially, they still held her accountable, but they still were respectful. So, for instance, they essentially said, hey, she has a different way that she does her business model. I personally wouldn't subscribe to that type of way. I'm never going to be a blogger that is not going to put out information or discuss a situation without having receipts, without having factual information, and not just putting out anything about somebody because if it's trending, if it's viral, you know it's going to get the views. And that's all you have to say, and say that you disagree, you don't think it's a good idea, however, da 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 da. That's all you have to say. I don't think it is a problem in holding somebody accountable or giving your honest opinion. There's a difference between giving your opinion on a situation, whether it's a friend, colleague, or not, and then just blatantly disrespecting or saying something completely out of pocket or saying something that's too biased to where you can't have an actual opinion on it because you're too close to the situation or what have you. That I understand, when either you're too close to the situation or you feel as though if you say something, you're going to come across as disrespectful or trying to hurt your friend. But if you come at it from an approach that's like, hey, I either agree or disagree with how this has unfolded or what has all happened, and then just say your piece, I don't think that is damaging anything. And so I'm just wondering, in the space though, moving forward, now that Funky Dineva is on a talk show where he's going to have to talk about certain things, and he's going to have to address certain things where he may have personal relationships with certain people, how that is going to be moving forward. So I am curious to see how that goes, because if you'll recall, remember what happened previously with the whole Nene Leakes thing, and they ran the story about how she didn't receive, certain gifts from certain people, or was surprised that all the housewives went in on flowers. And you'll remember that's a close personal friend of Al Reynolds. So again, there's going to be stories that are going to come out that, again, you'll have to address in some capacity. And it might be somebody you know. It might be somebody that you have a personal friendship with, but that's the nature of the beast in this type of business when you are talking about blogging and discussing trending topics, discussing celebrity news, discussing what's going on with reality stars. That might be a situation that you run into. So I'm just wondering moving forward how that is going to go. I would say of all the panelists, I enjoyed Al Reynolds' commentary the most because I felt that he was fair, but he also just gave it to you straight forward and basically said, hey, he gave it to you from a legal standpoint and not from a standpoint of whether or not he liked Tasha K or liked Cardi B or had a personal relationship with Tasha K or had a personal relationship with Cardi B. He gave it to you straight from the perspective of what the facts are. And I feel like if you're a blogger and you're simply just giving it from the perspective of what the facts are, there's no issue. Nobody is looking at you as, oh, your team Cardi or oh, your team Tasha K. They're looking at it, okay, you're being unbiased, you're being fair, you're reporting the facts based off of what's been reported, and that's okay. So I enjoyed Al's commentary the most out of that particular segment because he's right. He's right that this can revolutionize things moving forward depending on what the court ruling is. So it's going to be interesting. I think for the most part, I feel most bloggers will be okay, but I feel that certain people that may have a similar approach as Tasha K, that they'll have to change some sort of their business model. And they won't be able to do certain things that they may have been able to do in the past of just outright saying certain things about certain people. That there will have to be actual receipts and actual fact checking this time and actual credible people and credible sources before reporting moving forward. And that's the thing. And I think overall they hate that it came to this. But again, I think at the same token, it had to be done. It had to happen. It had to happen to set the precedent that this type of reporting, this type of blogging will not be accepted. If you're admitting on the stand that you knowingly put out lies about somebody and you're putting out there that you continued to put out lies about somebody because you were pissed that they didn't come on your platform, and you admit that in federal court, and there's U.S. Marshals, there's FBI agents, there's Treasury agents sitting in on your trial as you are gladly handing everybody the case on a silver platter, that's a totally different thing. And I don't know what the thought process is if Tasha K was thinking, okay, I'm just going to be famous from this. I'm going to be famous because I'm in the same courtroom as Cardi B, but it's very serious. There's the potential that she can take everything. There's the potential that if your channel still stays up, that you'll have to pay all of your revenue out or any future earnings from your channel to Cardi B. So that's the thing. I think the libel route is something that many celebrities can consider moving forward on what happens with this case. That if they feel that there is a certain blogger who is targeting them, or a certain blogger that is just blatantly putting false stories out there for clicks, for views, for revenue, that they can go after them. Versus reporting something from a credible source, or even if you're discussing a rumor, saying allegedly, saying I have no factual information in terms of whether or not this particular rumor is true, but this is what this website's reporting, this is what this blog is reporting. However, I do not know personally whether or not this particular story is true or false. It is all alleged. But when you bring people on who are claiming that this is fact, that this is true, that you only break exclusives, that you only tell the truth, and then somebody proves that to be wrong, somebody proves that this is a lie, they have medical records to show, hey, they don't have herpes, they don't have HPV, they are not a prostitute, and you admit that you were Googling Cardi B on porn websites in hopes that it matched your story about her, then that's taking it to a whole nother level. Then it just seems like you have a personal issue with Cardi B, and you are going to Google and find any type of rumor that's not credible, and even going as far as to go on porn sites just because she used to be a stripper, just to try to put something out there that's going to go viral. For me personally, what is the gall? What is the drive of spreading a rumor about a celebrity's sexual health? Like, what does that mean? What does that do? And how can you prove it legally unless you were the person that was intimate with them and know for a fact that that is who you received the STD from? Otherwise, it's all speculation. So even if somebody has a cold sore, again, if it's some type of birthmark or something that they can prove in federal court that, hey, this actually is not a cold sore, it's a beauty mark that they had since they were a child. However, again, people can Photoshop, people can alter pics, people can do anything to make something seem worse than what it is, especially if rumors are already out there of you saying somebody has herpes and you hashtagging the cold sore bee thing. So I don't think it's going to negatively affect people who are accurately reporting things, or at least if they are not sure whether or not a particular rumor is going to come out to be true or not, at least saying allegedly, but still crediting the source that provided that particular information and that intel so that you can reference it for yourself. Because just like other videos that I have posted, I am also going to post the link to this particular episode so you guys can listen for yourselves. I'm not just saying this just to say it. I am going to link in my description the link to this Fox Soul episode so you guys can see the commentary from Funky Dineva, from Claudia Jordan, from Al Reynolds for yourselves. And you can click on the live chat replay so you can see what the comments were by the 3,000 people when they got to that particular part of the show and discussed this particular story. So you can see for yourself their reactions as well as what the response was when the commentator that Claudia Jordan read on air about Tasha K silencing Funky Dineva. Because again, I want you guys to be able to fact check yourselves, to verify the receipts, to validate everything that was presented to you. And that's okay. So that is all of the thoughts that I have on that. Please react. Please let me know what your thoughts are on the comments that Al Reynolds, Cardi Jordan, and Funky Dineva made on Cardi B's lawsuit against Tasha K. What do you think of their response? Please react. I am curious to know your guys' thoughts. For those of you, if it's your first time viewing my channel, welcome. Please check out my playlist of other videos, other things that I have talked to, other things that I have reacted to, TV shows I've reviewed, other celebrity news and gossip and things I've discussed, or reality stars. Those of you who've been back multiple times, thank you so much for your continued support. I'm grateful, thankful, and appreciative of all of you. This is such a blessing of how quickly things have taken off, how quickly we have grown. I appreciate everything. I read all of your comments. Thank you so much. I read your comments. I read your feedback. I read if you agree or disagree or whatever. I read everything. So I try to get back and I try to either like or comment back or what have you when I get a moment. And please, with that being said, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I will talk to you guys again very soon. Have a happy rest of your day. Have a happy rest of your weekend. And I will talk to you guys later.